Hi guys, so I am back today to do a book haul. Yay, I love my book hauls. So if you watched any of my unboxings, you will see that I said I had a, I found a great sale at Savers. Was having a sale all weekend long. On all books were 99 cents, all of them. So I think I did pretty good conservative wise as far as, there's a wasp outside the window. I hope there isn't a wasp nest outside my window. As far as conservative wise, because I think I got 18 books total, which is pretty good knowing that they were all 99 cents. I had quite a few more that I put back because I thought, okay, I can't do more than 20 bucks. I just can't. It's great that they're all 99 cents, and I have to be careful not to go crazy because I could bring home 50 probably, but I knew that my husband would kill me. So far, we still have some room on the bookshelves downstairs, so I felt that 18 was a good number. So I'm going to start with the kids' books. And if you've watched any of my unboxings before, you will know that I have been filling up my grandkids. I have a shelf that is my grandkids' shelf. And actually, I'm a little worried about that. I'm going to have to find a different shelf because that shelf is pretty full. And so if Peter really pays attention, he will see that I don't really have room for any more kids' books, especially because we don't have grandkids yet. So I know he's like, why are you getting all these kids' books? But I am proactively getting ready to have grandchildren that I will want to read to all the time. And I want to have a good selection of books that, portray our pagan lifestyle, that portray nature in a good light. I have been collecting books recently on other cultures that revere nature. So that's what I want to do, is keep that up so that we have a great library of books for our grandkids when we take our grandkids overnight. Oh, guys, it's a sickness. Being a witch is a sickness sometimes. Okay. So first of all, I'm going to start with an oops moment, which I didn't realize till I got home. So when I get home from a book haul, the first thing I do is I go onto my Goodreads account, which I love because it keeps me organized and sane. So usually I know what books I have. And I load up all the books that I've gotten. And the good thing about Goodreads is, there's lots of good things about Goodreads. I love my Goodreads account. But if the book has a barcode, you can scan in the book. So you don't have to go searching for each book. You can just scan it. If it doesn't have a barcode, you can scan the front cover and usually it's able to find it. So that is a huge time saver for me. So when I did that this time, I hit a book that said that I already owned it. And I was like, ah, shoot. I'm pretty good usually about kids' books, I thought. But I realized that I just got this one recently. So I found this one. I think this was in my last Goodreads. So now I'm doing Goodreads and Goodwill. I found this at Goodwill, and I think I included this in my last haul. And I bought it again. So now I have two. So it goes into the trade pile. Which is right back there. It's right there. And I will be doing a video soon of any decks and books that I have extras of, or decks that I'm ready to pass on. So this will be one of the books to go to trade. Because it's Hawk, I Am Your Brother, which just looked like a great book to begin with. Native American boy captures a hawk in the hope that he can also capture some sense of its ability to fly. Parnell's sweeping black and white panoramas complement this spare, poetic text. So it really is an absolutely gorgeous book. And I'm glad to have it in my library, even though I already had it. So that's the first one. So I did have that, but that's okay. Sometimes you just have to have an extra. All right, so I'm going to start with the kids' books. Okay, because I found a bunch of really cool ones. This one is a book called Slow. This is by Joseph Bruac, who is a Native American, illustrated by Rocco Bavaria. And this is a book about Sitting Bull. When Sitting Bull was a child, his name was Slow, and he hated it. And it's a this book is just great. It's got beautiful pictures in it. And it's a great, like, coming of age story of how he changed his name. I think, what a wonderful thing to have your name built around who you are and what you do. And as you grow, you change names. The concept itself is beautiful. So the back of this says, the true story of Sitting Bull. Being named Slow and growing up in the shadow of a great warrior hardly dwarfed the prospects of this protagonist. He grew up to be Sitting Bull. Bruhac's sensitively told story of Sitting Bull's coming of age reassures young boys that success comes through effort, not birth. So, just as far as I'm concerned, an amazing story. The illustrations in here are just absolutely stunningly gorgeous. The shadowy figures and so I was really happy to add this to my collection. It will be a great one to read to the children. Then we have The Outlandish Adventures of Orpheus in the Underworld. And this is by Paul Newman and Elaine Cox. So it says, first of all, let me show you some of the illustrations. Just a little bit of picture, lots of words. So it's maybe a little bit older children. So this says, did you know that singing can change the world? The mythical Greek poet and musician Orpheus charmed all of creation with the power and beauty of his song. Many tales have come down to us of the marvelous feats of Orpheus and what he was able to perform through his music, but none have so captured the imagination of the West as the story of his descent to the underworld to rescue his wife Eurydice. In the outlandish adventures of Orpheus in the underworld, Paul Newham, by the way, not Newman. It's not the actor Paul Newman. It's Newham. Vivid prose poem combines with Elaine Cox's exquisite imagery to recreate the adventures of a hero who is notable for his ability to achieve change by peaceful means. Orpheus is born in the land of myth, and it's quick to master music, which wins him the affection of animals as well as humans. After leaving home and setting out on his travels as a young man, he meets and marries Eurydice, but his happiness is abruptly ended by her early death. Full of grief but ready to do anything to retrieve his lost love, Orpheus sets out on a perilous descent to the underworld. Here he will come face to face with awesome animals and sights that flood his heart with pity and terror. Here he will face the greatest challenge of his life, for his music must soften the stony hearts of Hades, Lord of the underworld, if Eurydice is to be set free and returned to the sweet light of day. So what a cool story. And full of very interesting, exquisite kind of images. So again, another kind of myth story that I am happy to have in my library. So if you have read or seen any of my other videos, you know I am a person that likes to teach kids the real world kind of emotional stuff too. So I have lots of books on death and dying and subjects that not everyone broaches with children. And I tend to not sugarcoat stuff because I want them to be able to go through tragic occurrences and come out of it okay. And when they're young is the time to teach them how to do that, because they can fall back on us. We have to be their support. So this one is called If Nathan Were Here. It is by Mary, B-A-H-R, Mary Bear. And let's see if I can find the beginning here. Okay. So this says, the story offers no easy solution as it moves through the boy's anger and isolation to his rejoining life in gradual, unforced steps. The bright watercolors have a gentle shining quality that enhances the book's hopeful message. This affecting story is a solid choice for children mourning the loss of a peer. Bear's depiction of grief feels very real. The circumstances of Nathan's death are not specified, broadening the book's applicability. Jerome's softly focused watercolor paintings are similarly, I will never be able to say that word right, guys, sorry, undefined, inviting youngsters' interpretation without limiting their ability to identify with characters. So it is about a boy who has lost his best friend. And it starts out, you know, he's on a walk and he starts talking about, you know, if Nathan were here, we'd be doing this. And if Nathan were here, we'd be doing this. So it's a young boy's grief and how he processes that grief. And it's a beautiful story. Obviously, it's a sad story, but it is a beautiful story. And I've read several of the, people looked at this book and reviewed it and said that when they were younger, they had read this book when they were younger and had lost a friend. So it must be 2000. So now it's 18 years old. And that it helped them to get through that death. So I think it's a great story to help children through that kind of thing. So I will have that in my library. And why is it when I come inside, my nose itches? I know it means you're going to kiss a fool, which I do that a lot. I love you, Peter. Okay, the 3 questions. This is written and illustrated by John Muth, M-U-T-H, John J. Muth. And the 3 questions, this is a children's story that is based on a story by Leo Tolstoy. So I was very intrigued with that. I remember reading Leo Tolstoy's story a long time ago, maybe when I was in college. But the 3 questions are: when is the best time to do things? Who is the most important one? And what is the right thing to do? And so if you, here we go. Where's my glasses? The author's note in the back. So Leo Tolstoy is a very, very, very famous Russian author. Great writer. Many years ago, I found the 3 questions mentioned in a book by Thich Nhat Hanh, who I absolutely adore. I have lots of his books too. A Vietnamese Zen master. When I first read the story, it was as if a golden bell inside me had been struck, reminding me that I already knew this tale by heart. Some books are like that, and it has happened for me very often with the writer Leo Tolstoy. The original short story is not about a boy with animal friends, but a czar who is looking for answers to the 3 questions. His adventure was of a different kind. Rather than saving a panda and her child, he unwittingly rescues someone who is trying to harm him. By saving his enemy, he creates a profound connection with another human being. I encourage those readers interested in sophisticated layers and intrigue to seek out Leo Tolstoy's wonderful original story of the same name. I wanted to tell this story to a young audience, so its form here is somewhat different than Tolstoy's. I hope he would be honored by this telling. I hope it would make him smile. The animal characters borrow their names from many places. Pushkin and Gogol are the names of famous Russian writers. Sonia was the name of Leo Tolstoy's now I'm losing my complete vocabulary here. Was the name of Leo Tolstoy's wife. Nikolai is the name of Leo Tolstoy's brother and also my son, who modeled for the character. Pushkin was modeled by my dog, Raymond. My daughter, Adeline, is the baby panda. And the wise character of Leo is, of course, Tolstoy himself. So, what a really cool take to take a philosopher and author's short story, which was very interesting and incredible writing, by the way, and make it into a book for children so that children can start to understand living a Zen kind of life. It's a pretty neat book, if you ask me. So I absolutely, look at that, gorgeous images. Absolutely was happy with that. And we're already at 16 minutes. Oh my goodness, guys. Maybe I'll just go through the kids' books for this video and do a whole nother one for the adult books. How's that? Then I don't have to rush. Okay. So this book was illustrated by Michael Haig, who is just such a wonderful illustrator. He does quite a few books, but it was retold by Kathleen Haig and illustrated by Michael Haig. And this is the book East of the Sun and West of the Moon. The mysterious white bear, the mighty north wind, the castle east of the sun and west of the moon are all dramatically illustrated by Michael Haig in this classic Scandinavian fairy tale. So, you see, really, really beautiful illustrations in this book. Look at that. I often wondered, I wonder if he's ever done a tarot deck, Michael Haig, because his illustrations would make just some beautiful and interesting tarot cards. Look at, that's the one that's on the cover. And it's a great Scandinavian fairy tale, and made even greater by the fact that they have these gorgeous illustrations in there. So, yay! Very good one. By the way, don't forget all of these 99 cents. That's what I paid. Yay! Okay, 1621, A New Look at Thanksgiving. This is a book that I have wanted to have for a while. When I first heard about it, I thought, what a perfect idea. The holiday known as Thanksgiving to us here in America is a holiday that when I was a kid was taught very differently to us than what actually happened in history. And so as I grew into an adult and learned more about what the history actually was, I thought, why would they teach us that? How horrible that we celebrate this thing that may not have been such a great and wonderful thing. And so this book kind of goes about giving you a better idea of what really happened. And I think that's a wonderful idea, for sure. A wonderful idea. So let me show you some of the, oh look, there's even some recipes in here of stuff that they served at the actual Thanksgiving back then. And the images in here are actual photographs of like some recreations of what they actually would have been wearing, rather than, you know, all the black pilgrim hats and people in full Indian regale. There was some of that, but it was very different than it was taught to us in school. And I am very happy to correct the record on what Thanksgiving is really about. Now, of course, the good thing is, too, being a pagan, we celebrate, our Thanksgiving is actually Mabon, which is our next Sabbath. And that is coming up September 21st this year. So don't forget that. And if you're like me and you have both Christian and pagan in your family, or both Christian and Jewish and pagan, or Jewish and pagan alone, or nothing and pagan, or not even pagan, you can celebrate. Look at my nose. Oh, I don't know what I'm allergic to up here. It's horrible. You can celebrate however many Thanksgivings you want, but I always loved the fact that we can celebrate a Thanksgiving in September, which is closer to when they would have actually celebrated this. So this says, in the fall of 1621, English colonists and Wampanoag, that's the name of the Indian tribe, people feasted together for 3 days. Join us for a new look at the real history behind the event that inspired the myth of the first Thanksgiving. So I just think that is a great book to have, for sure. So then we have, this is John Conu. This is a story from the sketchbook of Winslow Homer. And it doesn't... Oh, that's why I was going to have my computer up here. So this is a different kind of story, which I really wanted to be able to read the Goodreads explanation. We only have 8 minutes here. Shoot. Hold on. Okay, so I went and got it. So this is by Amy Little Sugar. It says, Scylla doesn't know much about Yankee painter Winslow Homer, who is staying at her mama's inn in Virginia. So one day, she follows him and she's surprised to discover that Mr. Homer has posed freed slaves in colorful costumes while he paints a tribute to Jockanu, the African-American holiday that celebrates freedom from slavery. And I did not even know that that was a holiday. I've never heard of that. And I live in America. So I thought, well, how come I don't know this story and how important this story will be? So another great find, as far as I'm concerned. Yay! I'll try to speed up a little bit because I have 3 more and we have 7 minutes. Okay, remember beauty and songs for a blue time. Janie Johi Webster and Nyla J. Webster. Artwork by George M. Ulrich. And how gorgeous is that? So it says, remember beauty and songs for a blue time. Yep, need my glasses. Tells of a special friendship between a great lone wolf and a tiny kitten, the Buddha baby. Even when the great wolf must take a journey without his beloved companion, they stay connected to one another through poems they write. A picture book for all ages, this story offers a caring explanation of never-ending connections. This is a book about an unlikely love that brightens the dark sky, brings peace to the wild beasts, and sings a beautiful song for the whole universe to hear. Served to us in comforting text, luminous illustrations, and shimmering poetry, the message of the book is one we all need to hear. Eternal connections. Does that not sound familiar? How gorgeous are these pictures? And the fact that it's talking about how much we are all connected is incredible. This is just the perfect kind of book. It's beautiful. So yet another one. Yippee. Okay, now this book is called Mountain Dance. And apparently it is for a little bit older people. It's much more about how the mountains are created. So even though it looks initially like a book for younger kids, this book apparently is great. Look at that volcano picture. Is great for a little bit older, like 5th grade or so, when they are first learning about geology and how mountains form. It shows all kinds of different mountains, and then at the end, oh, look at that, gorgeous. At the end, it has a little blurb about mountains and how they were created. So that is, again, another great book. That is an educational book about nature. Love it. The last one that I'm going to talk about before the next video is Prince Nautilus. And I'm going to, hold on one second. So this story is by Laura Krauss Melmed. And it says it's color illustrations by Henry Sorensen. Accompany an original fairy tale about 2 sisters who live with their father, one of whom is a beauty with a cold heart, while the other is kind, capable, and full of dreams. Let me show you some of the really neat illustrations in here. So, you know, talk about a moral of the story kind of story. That's what I believe this one is going to end up being. Gorgeous illustrations. So it says in here, in a weathered shack by a windswept shore, 2 girls lived with their father. Though the older sister, named Columbine, was a great beauty, her heart was as cold as kelp. But the younger daughter, Fiona, was kind and capable and full of dreams. One day, walking along the shore, Fiona finds a shell. To her astonishment, when she picks it up, it cries out to her, "Help me, please." A prince has been trapped inside by an evil wizard, and the sisters are determined to help him break the spell. Fiona from the goodness of her heart, Columbine with her own shallow goals in mind. In this original fairy tale, Laura Melmed takes readers on an enchanted journey filled with magical moments and illustrated with Henry Sorensen's sweeping paintings. So, again, very, very pretty illustrations and a moral of the story kind of story. So that is all the truly children's kind of books. I got some that I will show in the next video here for adults, and a couple that are like young adult books. So I'll explain them in the next video. I hope your weekend is going great so far, guys. Blessings.